Joined by women's soccer head coach Scott Stan to look back at the 2021 season for he and the Trojans. Scott started off great, 7 shutouts to start the year. Then he jumped into the tough Crossroads League play. You finished the year 11-7 overall, but 3 of those league losses come in overtime. So what were your overall thoughts on the season?
Overall, I mean, if you just reflect on the season itself as a whole, it was a really, really good season. I think sometimes people look at the league record and they're like, oh, man, they really struggled, which we did. But I think we have 4 in the top 15 in our league. And, you know, we went to overtime with Iwu, we went to overtime with Marion, and we lost those matches. But we actually played really well, and they were 1-goal games against teams that were actually both in the top 5 or 6, I believe, when we played them.
And 4 teams going to the national tournament for another year as well. So, and you had a lot of young players that got to face those tough teams. So what do you think that development helped for them? Not just your freshmen, but a healthy amount of sophomores got to see some significant playing time as well, and maybe in some new roles too.
Yeah, I think it was really, really important for future development because we brought in 10 freshmen, so that was a lot, and trying to get them some playing time was really critical. And then unfortunately we had some injuries that kept some of them out of the games in the beginning of the year. But even like Mariah Dunham, a freshman who didn't play a lot, we actually got her in against Spring Arbor away just to make sure that as they become more mature and need it much next year, that they can go into those harder games and not just be really nervous, but actually contribute to the overall success of the team.
3 players named to the All-League teams this year by the Crossroads League, headlined by Lindley, too. 3rd year in a row she's been named to the first team, was an All-American a year ago. Fantastic stats for Lindley. 3rd straight season, as we mentioned, first team All-League selection, 5 goals and 3 assists. What's it been like to watch her here? She finishes up her career, which is a sad thing for you, but what's it been like to be able to coach her these last 3 seasons?
It's actually been a privilege. You don't get many people that play for a national team coming to a school like Taylor, but Lindley just wants to know more about Jesus and play soccer. So we're like, yeah, absolutely. And like people might think that 5 goals and 3 assists isn't a big year, but she's playing holding mid, so her main job is defensive, and she still gets forward and puts in great goals. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what she does in January at the pro tryouts in Florida. And who knows, maybe I'll be flying to Iceland or Finland or some Scandinavian country to watch her play in the future.
You get that passport ready. You might need to, it's a long process. You probably want to renew that passport, right?
Right. Well, actually, my wife just renewed hers, but I have a couple years. But yeah, it's going to get used a lot, I think.
Your other 2 All-League selections, both on their honorable mention. You talked about scoring goals with Lindley. Well, someone that's done that all 4 years is Teemins. 4th year she's been named to an All-League selection, had a team-best 7 goals this season, and she dealt with some injuries about to the midway point of the year, but finished strong. How special was it to watch her career, which started off hot, and then she just continued on, even though when people were keying on her?
Yeah, Erin's had a great year, and like you said, she's had, unfortunately, key injuries the last 2 or maybe 3 years during conference, and she's missed conference games every year, and yet she still finishes the number 2 scorer in school history behind some girl named Molly Druger that we used to love coaching as well.
Yeah, I think she went into the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh,
I think, right?
Yeah, Molly Druger Kearns, Hall of Famer. The only one, actually, so far, but it's going to be growing.
Yeah, I think Miss Teemins might want to put her name in that list. Your other honorable mention selection, sophomore Claire Massey, started all 18 matches this year after only starting in 4 a season ago. Not just a great defender, which is her primary job, but she was really, really strong offensively, had 4 goals, and she led the team in 5 assists.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that our outside backs, I think the last 3 years, like was Riley and then Dempsey and now Claire Massey have made all conference. And part of it is that all of our backs have the ability to get forward. We took that away from Riley and Dempsey by moving them to the middle where they had to only play defense. But yeah, Claire's been really, really strong this year, and not just soccer-wise, but physically. I mean, people don't like to play against her. She's tough mentally, physically. She gets forward, scores goals, whips things into the box for other people. But it was a great year for her.
Not only recognition for the team on the field, but in the classroom as well. You had 8 COSIDA Academic All-District selections. That's the most in program history and most in the country, no matter the level. They were Hannah Brackenbury, Hannah Dempsey, Riley Massey, Kate Kortenhoven, Claire Nishala, Lindley Tu, Emma Shoemaker, and Erin Teemins.
Whew, that is a lot. And for the region we're in, it was 8 out of the 13 selections were our players, which, looking at the majors they pick, like Hannah with the biomedical engineering, it's like, oh, they're doing really hard things too. So, and that's what we do at Taylor, right? We recruit really strong Christian kids who are smart academically, can play a little ball too. But congrats. I mean, I don't even know how to express my gratitude for this. It's overwhelming that we had so many selections.
As you guys transition to off-season work, what are the plans for this off-season work? Because you get ready, it's a really big rush, and then it's almost done in the blink of an eye here in the first semester.
Yeah, it really is. So just to stay together, we'll do some strength and agility training here in the winter, just to be together, get together a little bit in J-term. They'll play some indoor at night, and then we have the 12 weeks of spring to really hone them and get them ready for what's going to be expected for next year.
Well, Scott, thanks for all the time this 2021 season. Best of luck in the offseason. We'll talk to you before the 2022 year gets here.
Thanks, Rick.
That is Scott Stan, the Taylor Women's Soccer head coach, joining me today. For more up-to-date information on Taylor Women's Soccer, just log on to TaylorTrojans.com.